I've got another audio myth today that just will not die, so I'm going to do my best to debunk it. It's also something you can follow along with at home. You can test your own hearing and see if you can tell the differences. I've seen loads of videos and podcasts recently of people, including incredibly successful and popular creators, saying you cannot hear the difference between lossless audio, such as a WAV file, and lossy, compressed audio, such as an MP3, whether it's low or high bitrate. So that is what we're going to disprove today with a really simple test that we'll perform in just a second. But there's probably 5 or 6 channels in our space here that I could call out, but I'm really not interested in making any enemies or sort of picking on anyone. But I do want to show an example from a much larger and successful creator. And I'm going to show this because it's not going to hurt their livelihood or their income. But these are the sorts of clips that I'm referring to.
My hot take
currently looking
is
for a job.
None of you people can tell the difference between lossless audio and regular
That's
compressed
not
audio.
yeah,
Zero of you. And I know you think you can, but you can't. You can only tell it because of confirmation bias, but if you listen back to back, you might maybe get it right, but if you don't label them and you do a blind test, you'll get it wrong every single time. There is no... I'll stop there. Imperceptible to 99.9% of people. And that last 0.1% is kind of guessing.
Damn. Wow. Mic drop.
No, I don't know Marcus or any of his friends there, and I'm not looking to start any drama. This is just the sort of conversation that comes up over and over again. So this is where the blind test comes in, just to finish this conversation. I see this come up over and over again where someone says, I can't hear the difference, and then they just apply that to everyone else as sort of a one-size-fits-all approach. And it's odd because it just completely denies other people's experience of music and sound. Anyway, let's get into this test. Now, of course, YouTube's going to compress the audio you hear, so I do recommend if you want to test your own hearing, just go to this website. I'll leave a link in the description. This was published, I just noticed, just over 10 years ago, and this conversation still won't die. So anyway, how this works is it's a sort of blind randomized test. There's 6 different songs, and there's 3 samples for each song. For each song, listen to all 3 samples and choose the one that you think is the highest quality audio. Now, highest quality is a bit subjective. You might prefer the sound of the MP3. So what I'm going to do instead is guess or tell you which one is the WAV file and also which are the MP3s. So I'm not listening yet, but for instance, you pick one and then it tells you whether you were wrong or right, which was the WAV, and then which was the high and low quality MP3. But when you refresh the page, it also changes the order of the songs and the order of the MP3 and WAV file. So if I just pick this again, you can see they're all in a different position. So there's not really a way to game this or like learn the songs or anything like that. Let's take a listen. So that one at the top was an MP3, and so is this one. And there's your WAV file. So as we listen, this might become more apparent to you, maybe like what I'm hearing. Let's go for Dark Horse by Katy Perry. This is going to get a copyright strike. I might have to speed up some of these. We'll see if YouTube allows it. It's in the palm of your hand now, babe. Like, that sounds good, but that's the low quality MP3. It's in the palm of your hand now, babe. There's your WAV file. It's in the palm of your hand now, baby. And that also sounds really good, but the bottom one's your 320, that's your WAV, and the top one is the 128. Simple. Let's try different headphones though. That's what everyone's going to say. They're going to say, well, you're using audiophile grade headphones or whatever, although I hate that word, audiophile. They're just mixing headphones. These I pulled out of the cupboard, okay? I have not regularly used these headphones in almost 10 years, maybe 8 or 9 years. Audio-Technica M20Xs, they were £35 or dollars when I bought them. And I'm going to plug them directly into the MacBook. So like no special converters or anything like that. Let me just change my audio settings. Spent all my euros on tuxes and weird clothes. I party with weirdos. Yeah ho, yeah ho. Spent all my euros on tuxes and weird clothes. I party with weirdos. There's like no bass in these. It's taken a minute to get used to the headphones, but spent all my euros on tuxes and weird clothes. So what we've got is WAV file 320 and then 128 at the bottom. Simple. You know, I want to end this debate. No headphones. I'm going to just go MacBook speakers. So let me just change this up. Yeah. This mix is so dense. It's amazing, really. This is odd. I thought the MacBook speakers would be harder, but you almost feel the dynamics better. So this bottom one is the WAV. I just need to get which is the high and low quality MP3. I think this one in the middle's the high quality MP3, but this one at the bottom's the WAV. That was harder. It was more difficult to hear the difference on this. So that's the MP3. We've got an immediate drop off of the high end. And there's also an MP3. So the top one's the WAV file, but I'm struggling. I'm going to say this middle one's 320 and the bottom one's 128. That again was a little bit more tricky. And then this one here, vocals. This is definitely the 128 and the one at the top's the WAV file. Simple. 6 out of 6. I'm just going to restart this. I'm going to put my good headphones back on and we'll do it again. That could all be a fluke. Who knows? Middle one's the WAV file. There's the WAV file. The top one I think is the 320, but the bottom one's the WAV file. So this is what I'm saying when people say like, oh, no one can hear the difference, you're just guessing, would be, it's like saying, oh, all of those are the same, they're all purple, or all of these are red, no one can tell the difference. It's in the palm of your hand now, babe. It's an MP3, but it still sounds good. I'm going to skip ahead, but the middle one sounds like the WAV file to me, for sure. So you want to play with magic? So you want to play with magic? The vocals are so different, it's crazy. So the middle one's the WAV file, the top one I think is the low quality. Listen to these vocals. You wanna play with magic? They're all just like warped and warbled, whereas here, play with magic. Oh man, it's so funny. Like when this song came out, like I wasn't even doing mixing or audio engineering or anything. There you go, that's the low versus the high. Last one. Let's just, here we go. I love the bass in this one. That's a 320. That's a WAV file. And there's the 128. So what did I say? This one was a WAV file? Yeah. Once again, I linked that test in the description. You can do it yourself. You leave a comment down below, you know, what you got in that test, and then let me know, do you want me to make a video talking about what I'm really hearing when I hear the differences between all of these? And I also want to say I'm not trying to kick up a debate to say MP3 is terrible. I love that I can be out cycling in a remote area and just have Spotify connected on a trickle of signal and I'm listening to music and it sounds good when I'm out cycling. There's so much utility for an MP3 where I couldn't even download a WAV file. So it's all just a case of what you think sounds better. But to claim and just say, as so many people do online, oh, this is just placebo, no one can hear the difference, I can't hear the difference, therefore you can't. It's just really odd, because like my example, it's like saying, oh, all of these are purple, they're all the same shade, like no one can tell the difference. It's like, well, if you've got a keen eye for it, there's a decent difference between those. Like we all experience things so differently, and all of this stuff is just sort of input that our brain is just rapidly trying to decode, and we all do it in different ways. We're all having a different experience, a different sensory experience of the world around us, and it doesn't mean one is better than the other. Sometimes being able to hear all these differences can really drive you a bit insane. So I'm not saying it's like better or worse. And of course, there are literally dozens of things more important than lossless versus lossy. Your speaker setup, the headphones, the system you're listening to music on will make a huge difference. I'd rather listen to an MP3 on my studio monitors than a lossless file out of my laptop speakers. And when it comes to making it in this industry, you also don't really need to hear the differences between these. It's often more important, how do you work with artists? Do you have the skills and techniques to overcome the problems that they're facing, or just help in, work alongside their creativity? So I'm not saying you need to be able to do this, but I do find it really odd. And I'm not going to name and shame. It's just not what I do. I find it odd when there's people selling mixing and mastering courses on YouTube, also making videos saying they can't hear the difference between this stuff. It's just like a little bit weird to me. I did make this video because I was getting a little bit frustrated seeing all these podcast clips and threads and tweets and whatnots about this. Honestly, social media is terrible. I should just stay off it. But I see all these posts and I'm not sure if they're trying to just clickbait, but there's people claiming this. And if you try to chime in to say, well, actually, I got 6 out of 6 on the test, everyone just calls you a liar. Everyone just says you've just made that up. So I just wanted to make this video to say, like, if you know what you're listening for, you can definitely do this. Let me know if you want me to make a video showing what I'm listening for, maybe doing a bit of ear training. But anyway, take the test yourself. Let me know how it goes for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.